Thursday morning. We are going to go through some information here. We should be on the call 35 minutes. We'll have you in a listen-only mode just for the initial part of it, and then we'll open it up for any questions that you might have. As Nick said, my name is Sean McCoy. I'm the National Business Development Director and owner of Federal Employee Benefits Advocates. I've been working with federal employees now for over a decade, for about 11 years. Over that period of time, I've probably spoken to in excess of 28,000 federal employees, and I've also trained several hundred advisors on this program. And so as we go through today, the first thing I want to talk about is if you want to get involved with the federal market, you really need to have what I call the 3 C's of commitment. You have to be committed to be a scholar of the benefits. Most of you are very familiar with ERISA-based benefits, but what you'll find with federal employees and their benefits is they're governed by federal law and federal statute, which can vary dramatically from what you see in the private sector with an ERISA-based plan. The other C is a commitment of the time to develop the market. Unlike a market where you can go out and do a Social Security seminar at a restaurant and attract a large number of people in a short period of time, it takes a little while to develop the federal market. It's also somewhat secular, runs in cycles because of different things that happen. So, for example, the federal government's budget just ended yesterday. And so the new budget starts effective today, but that doesn't mean that any money is going to trickle down to the agencies to do meetings for several more weeks. And then you've got the holidays coming up. And so there's a number of different things that you have to deal with, and you have to be committed to take the time to get involved in the marketplace. The other C is a commitment of the financial resources associated with this. I fully understand that whenever you take time out of the field or you invest in a particular service, that there's a cost associated with that. Sometimes it's an opportunity cost, sometimes it's a true cost. And so having been in and around the financial services industry for 32 years, I understand that financial commitment. So as we begin this, I want you to think about those 3 C's of commitment going into this program. So hopefully you're here looking for an opportunity to reach really an undiscovered niche market that has plenty of opportunity. When you look at why you should work with federal employees, well, first off, as Nick mentioned, there's a lot of them. There's about 2.7 million federal employees in the United States. That includes the Postal Service. And of that number, according to the Office of Personnel Management, beginning in 2018, approximately 1/3 of all federal employees will be eligible to retire. So to put that into perspective, that's about 776,000 people beginning in 2018, 2 years ago, that can begin to retire. As far as the age of the workforce, 39% of the workforce is age 50 or older compared to just 24% in the private sector. The average age for federal employees is about 47 years with about 16.3 years of service. Another thing that comes into play is the competitiveness of their pay. It's a misnomer for people to think that federal employees are not competitively paid. As a matter of fact, they are, because they have to compete with the private sector. Some of the positions within the federal government can pay upwards of $200,000. And so you do have a great opportunity to work with the federal employees with the fact that they're going to have various levels of assets that will be available to work with. 85% of all the federal employees work outside the Washington, D.C. area. Some of the states with the highest numbers would be California, Texas, Virginia, Maryland, Florida, New York, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Illinois, and Ohio. But every state has a significant number of federal employees, probably more than enough to keep you busy for your entire career. There are really 7 key areas that you can assist federal employees. And those federal employee areas are going to cover some areas that have to do with accumulation, some that have to do with risk management. So let's take a look at the first opportunity. The first opportunity is with their pension. There are 2 pension systems within the federal government. There's the old system, the Civil Service Retirement System, and that system has been around since 1920. But that system closed out its last participant on December 31st, 1983. So today, only about 2% of the population that remains, about 55,000 people, are under the old system. The old system, as a normal course of employment, did not pay into Social Security. The new system, which is the Federal Employee Retirement System that began January the 1st, 1984, also has a pension. And so each of those 2 pension systems have a survivor option that they must choose. And so oftentimes it may behoove the federal employee to choose an alternative to that, sometimes referred to as pension max, by choosing a life insurance survivor benefit in lieu of choosing the full pension survivor benefit. Now, you're going to want to leave some money there because they have requirements in order to maintain health insurance that requires the survivor to be receiving some portion of the pension. Another area that presents an opportunity, and this is for those people covered under the FERS system, is if they have less than 10 years of service and they die and they're not 62 with at least 5 years of service, there's no pension. And most of them don't realize that. So that's a huge risk management issue that they have. Also, it could cause a challenge for their survivors in that they may not have the ability to continue under the health insurance if there's not a family member receiving the benefit. And so from that perspective, that represents a risk management issue that would involve using life insurance as a solution for that particular benefit. The other is in the area of the accumulation. It has to do with the thrift savings plan. The thrift savings plan is the largest pension plan in the world. It has over $565 billion associated with that program. And unfortunately, about 40% of the money is in an equivalent of a money market fund, their G fund. And so as a result, they need assistance while they're in the accumulation phase to make sure that their assets are properly allocated, and then also to look at the various distribution options when they get ready to retire, because they do have some limitations on how those benefits are available. So that presents the opportunity for additional products and services that your firms may offer. Another area that's a little bit esoteric has to do with the voluntary contribution plan. The VCP plan is an old, archaic defined contribution plan that was set up many years in advance of the advent of the TSP. And what it does, it's a unique factor in that it gives the ability for federal employees to be able to put away up to 10% of everything that they've earned over their entire working career, and then through a change in the tax law in 2008, be able to pull that money over into a Roth IRA. So thereby avoiding what would normally be a contribution limit of either $6,000 or $7,000 a year, and also the income limit that may income some of the higher wage earners. So it can be a great tax opportunity for the right individuals to take non-qualified money using the VCP as a conduit to be able to put it into a Roth, thereby avoiding the taxation on the growth, and if it's there for 5 years or 59 and a half, whichever is longer, the earnings would come out tax-free. Now, to provide you with a little bit of statistical information about the TSP, as I mentioned, is the largest pension plan in the world. And in this particular case, what you have is a situation where the amount of money that's available in the TSP is going to vary.
Sean, did we lose you? Can't hear you.
Sorry on that, Nick. Okay. So again, I'm sorry. This is just a little bit of information to help you better understand the breakdown of the TSP balance. As you can see, there's a large number of assets that fall between the $50,000 and the $750,000 range. And there's also almost 9,600 people that have over $1 million in their TSP account. Now, the remaining 3 areas of assistance have to do with risk management. The first would be their federal employee group life insurance. They have several different types of federal employee group life insurance, but the one where most of them get their coverage comes in the form of their option B coverage. That's a salary multiple that will take them up to 5 times their salary. Early on, those costs are very low. However, as they get into their 50s, the cost of the life insurance begins to grow exponentially. And so as a result, they're often faced with the cost of their insurance towards their end of their career when they go into retirement, doubling and in some cases tripling from what it was when they were in their 40s and 50s. And so this presents an opportunity for you to be able to look at giving them an alternative life insurance program to protect their family while they're employed and then after they retire. Also, it is possible that over their lifetime, they may possibly contribute more to the TSP premiums than they would ever get out in terms of a death benefit. The other area that it deals with risk management has to do with disability. Now, unlike most private sector plans that have a disability insurance program, the federal government doesn't. For their short-term leave, they have something called sick leave that they accumulate hours as they go throughout their career. And then for the longer term, they have a disability retirement. Now, the challenge with that retirement is that the first year, they only get 60% of their high three offset by 100% of anything they might be eligible for from Social Security. The second year and beyond, it drops down to 40%. The challenge is that most of them don't realize how that disability works, and thus, as a result, could create some challenges within their family if they were to go out on disability. So that's an area that could be accomplished through either a straight disability policy or even a life insurance policy that may have a living benefit rider associated with it. The final area of risk management deals with not only risk management, but estate planning in terms of long-term care. They do have a federal long-term care insurance program that's administered through John Hancock. The challenge is that the program has been around since 2002. It's essentially a self-insured program that John Hancock does the administration on. But what you'll find is that in October of last year, they made some tremendous changes to the program and thus caused the cost of that program to go up dramatically. The other thing is, it's unlike private sector plans, you can't combine lives. It's a pretty stripped down brown bag program. And so this presents an opportunity to either set them up with a standalone long-term care program that they may be able to share benefits with a spouse or domestic partner, or to use a life insurance program that would have some form of a living benefit rider associated with it. So probably at this point, there would be two questions you might ask yourself. One, what's the best way to find new prospects and turn them into clients? And then two, how can I get the professional knowledge that I'll need to work with feds? Well, this is where we come into play. Federal Employee Benefits Advocates is an educational company. And so we have no desire whatsoever to want to be involved with any product sales that you may offer. We're not an IMO, we're not an FMO. We don't even have the licenses anymore. I used to have all the licenses back in the day. I was a 7, a 24, or 65. I had a life, health, and accident. Don't practice and haven't for about a decade. And so we're strictly educational. So we have two sides of our company that we work with. The first is the FEDED Advisor Training Program, where it gives you as a financial advisor to give you the knowledge, the tools, and the support that you'll need with working with federal employees. The other opportunity that we provide to you is through what we call our Federal Employee Benefits Seminars, or FEBA seminars. These are educational programs to help you build and develop relationships with federal employees. So let's first focus on the FEDED Advisor Program, and we'll go through this, and then we'll open up the phone lines for questions. So the FEDED Advisor Program normally is delivered in the past, prior to COVID, in a 2-day hands-on class. I prefer that methodology because it gives me a chance to build a relationship with you individually, as some of you probably have been made aware of as you go through the various Zoom and WebEx. You just don't make the same connection as you do face-to-face. So the class begins with what's called the pre-study guide. This pre-study guide is designed to give you a basic amount of information so that when the class is conducted, you will have the opportunity to at least have some point of reference in starting. It's very similar to if you took a pre-licensing exam with your securities license or with your insurance license. They usually would send you the pre-study material prior to the start of the class. So you get this, generally we try to get this to you about 2 weeks in advance, and it gives you, as I said, a precursory view of the information that we'll cover in our program. So because of COVID, we have shifted to a online basis, and so instead of doing 2 8-hour classes, we spread those out and are able to get that information into 3 4-hour sessions spread out over a 3-day period. So it starts with the classroom workbook. This classroom workbook becomes a valuable resource for you after class is concluded, and it is in fact a workbook. We have various exercises that teach you how to go through and do the various calculations that you would need in order to work with federal employees, as well as provide reference material for you in the past, for the future, And so it is something that is available. It comes in these materials will be mailed to you about 3 days before the class. It comes in a spiral bound hardcover with a plastic cover and then a hardcover on the back. So it's a great reference tool for you to use as you go throughout working with federal employees. In addition to that, what we really consider kind of the secret sauce of our program is the marketing program. And this is designed to help you create a plan for this niche market. We teach you how to identify, locate, and communicate with federal employees. So you're going to be able to locate federal employees in your geographic area in a variety of methods. So what essentially we're doing is teaching you how to create your own organic list for the purposes of prospecting directly to federal employees to offer them a benefits analysis, which we'll talk about that in just a few moments, as well as being able to find key contacts within the federal government for the purposes of approaching them about doing briefings for them, as they refer to them, which virtually would happen now virtually, or things kind of settle down, go back to face-to-face. And then we look at the hybrid opportunities where you have a kind of an all-call, whether it's at a local hotel or a library where you have an opportunity to do on-site briefings or virtual briefings where you can invite more than one agent. Oftentimes you do that, get the word out on what on the program. Just to make sure everyone's clear on how our firm operates is we are like a bait and tackle shop. We're in the business of providing you the bait, the tackle, and occasionally a guide, but we are not the fishmongers. We are not in the business of providing nor selling you leads. We're in the business of empowering you to teach you how to do that on your own, and thus giving you the control that you probably want, need, and desire to be in control of your business. We also provide you with some marketing materials. Some of these come as a result of attending the class. Some of these are additional items that you can purchase through our online store. And so we have some flyers. We have a magazine-style brochure that would be used more or less for face-to-face type meetings. In addition to that, we also provide a variety of postcards that are available. And let me just also clarify on the postcards, we do not generate the list for you to mail out the postcards. You generate the list, you send it to us, and our printer will print it up. And if you want us to, we can do the whole shoot match. And all of this additional information is available on our online store. And so these cover those three areas of prospecting directly to the federal for the purposes of doing a benefits analysis, prospecting to a point of contact for being able to do an online briefing virtually or face-to-face, and then one that would allow them, if you're doing an all-call or to do an off-site briefing, various postcards available for each of those three methods. In addition to that, we also provide you with a software program from one of our key partners. This is Red Solutions. They're based at Dallas, and we've been working with them for our entire time that we've had our firm together. And the reason we do this is really two reasons. The first off is, bar none, this is probably the best software that I've seen that's able to give a comprehensive analysis on federal employees. The second thing is that this has an upgradable version, and the upgradable version will allow you to look at all of the state-defined benefit plans. So let's say you live in the state of Utah and you want to work with a teacher in Utah. It has that state-defined benefit plan available in the upgraded version. This software comes as a part of the cost of the class for attending. And so we want to make sure, as we said, to give you the knowledge, the tools, and support you need, and this is one of the key support tools. In addition to that, we'll also provide you with a digital resource library. This is about 85 different forms that you would use in the course of working with federal employees. It also gives you some additional information on some of the benefits. So the objective behind here is to try to give you lessen your learning curve in terms of understanding what's available with federal employees, and to be able to use this as a hands-on resource without having to go back and do the research yourself. So we provide this to you. Normally, if we do a face-to-face class, we just load it on your laptop or send you a zip drive. But what we do now is just send you a zip file, and you just download it to your computer. We also give you the ability to test your skills online. We have an online exam that's delivered through a firm called ClassMarker. It's 100 questions. You must score 75 in order to be complete the class. You have 2 hours to do this. And then what we do is we will provide you with a framed certificate of completion that you've gone through the FEDED Advisor Training Program. And you notice I use the word framed. Over my career in the insurance industry and financial services, I've attended, can't tell you how many classes. They provide you a certificate and it ends up going in a file in the drawer. So in this case, we send it to you framed so you can go ahead and display that prominently in your office. So we give a comprehensive program that provides you the knowledge, the tools, and supports you need. It starts with the pre-cut, the classroom workbook. We also give you what we think is really the secret sauce, which is the marketing materials. In addition to that, we provide you with the Ready Retire software solution, the opportunity to test your skills on our ClassMarker online to receive a completion of certificate of completion, and then the digital resource library that's available to you. The cost for this class is $16.95, and we do have a class coming up at the end of October. It'll be the 27th, 28th, and the times will go 11 to 3 Eastern, 10 to 2 Central, 9 to 1 Mountain, and then 8 to 12 Pacific time. The registration for the class to allow you an opportunity to be able to receive the materials would end on October 15th. So at this time, Nick, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and unmute anyone and unmute everyone to see if anyone would have a question. So I'll go ahead and unmute you. Everyone, you now have an ability, if you choose to ask a question, or if you choose to do a chat, you just simply select me, Kevin Sean McCoy, and then I can answer that privately if you'd like. So everyone's open if you do have a question.
I have a question.
All right, go ahead.
I am certified through SNO. How is your program different than SNO?
Well, of course, my position is I'm not in a position to try to downplay another provider. The difference with what you get with my program is the fact that I teach you how to market. SNO's model is not designed to teach you how to market. It's designed to sell you a fish. They probably would not admit to this, but the material that SNO uses, I actually created because I worked for them previously before starting my own firm. So the big difference is you're going to get more information. You're going to have the resources available because I give you service after the sale. I don't outsource the training on this to anyone except for myself. Now, when we do briefings, we do have other instructors, but when it comes down to the actual training on the benefits, I'm the person you go to. And when it's all said and done, if you have questions about that, like I got a question the other day from an advisor that had come through my class like 3 years ago. And he was a little hesitant to ask me the question. I was able to help him through and solve it through. So that's part of our service after the sale. Okay, additional questions? Okay, so I don't see any additional questions coming in, so I'm going to mute everyone back up. Let's make sure. Okay, so everyone should be back where they can hear me, hopefully. And we're going to go ahead and continue on. So the next aspect of it is our Federal Employee Benefits Advocate Seminar Program. That's a program where we teach you how to build relationships with federal employees by providing educational-based material. This does not come as a part of the class. This is a separate program that you would license. And what I mean by that is you don't purchase the material, you license it. It's a single license user, but if you do have someone else in your office that you do business with or a business partner, then what we do in that particular situation is we have available site licenses, and we can have an offline conversation if you have questions about that. So the Federal Employee Benefits Advocate Seminars, FEBA seminars, are complete benefit packages. The way that we offer these briefings is they come in full day and half day sessions because of the small number available of CSRS employees. We have recently combined those presentations so that if you license the FERS, you automatically get the CSRS program. Inside of those programs are independent modules, so that if you wanted to go out and say do a lunch and learn on the pension or lunch and learn on the TSP, you can do that. We don't license those modules individually. We license the full modules. We also have a financial literacy briefing that we offer in addition to the FERS and SERS briefings. These are really somewhat generic, could be delivered to anyone. What we typically do when we do our briefings for the federal agencies is we do usually a full day, or as we've done recently, half day on the federal employee benefits, and then we do a half day on financial literacy to tie back in those concepts that they may not necessarily cover in their benefits. Probably one of the key areas has to do with the area of estate planning and making sure that people have their wills, titles, and trusts in order. And then our most recent program is divorce and its effect on federal employees. So if you will, that is a niche within a niche. Federal employees are governed by federal law as it relates to divorce, which is dramatically different than what you see in the private sector with ERISA-based plans. So as far as our pricing model is concerned, we charge a $2,500 upfront fee for both the FERS and SERS for the first year. After that, the licensing fee is $500. The licensing fee for the divorce is $2,500. We have a 2-hour and 4-hour program, and then the financial literacy is $2,000 with a full and a half-day programs available. We also have, as we said, an opportunity that if you want to license the material and then have us come in and speak maybe your first couple times so that you get a feel for how the program works. We do that at a fee of $1,500 a day plus reasonable travel and expenses. And then we also require you to use our own workbooks. The participant workbooks run $10 for a full day, $8 for a half day, and then the modules run $2 to $3. We also have a brand new series of online briefings because what we found is that obviously with the COVID, it has prevented people from going out and doing face-to-face meetings. And so what we do in this particular situation is we offer a 1-hour, a 2-hour, and a 4-hour session. Now, rather than have to ship out the books, and certainly we don't permit you to send out the copies of the slides, what we do is we have a handout. And these handouts, for lack of a better word, act as if they're cliff notes. So it gives them just enough content so that they can follow along, an adequate place where they can take notes. And we've been very well received on this program by the people that we've delivered it to. And so we have a reduced pricing on this so that we'll allow you to license all 3 of these for $1,250. So this is kind of representation of what the books look like. The cover is, again, a coil. I mean, the book is a coil-bound hard card stock cover on the front and back with a plastic cover. And then it has built into it for the full day versions, a worksheet, and then the evaluation forms. And these are valuable resources for the attendees. So as you can see, this is an example of how we do our slides. You'll notice that we do them 2 up per page. The reason we do that is we, number one, want to make sure they can read it. Number 2, we want to make sure that they have the ability to take notes adequately while we're going through the presentation. Now, we'll clarify that the books, when we print them, are not color on the inside. That would be very expensive to do. I mean, if you wanted to do that, we could talk a one-off on the price, but I think it'd be a little too pricey, especially if you're ordering a large quantity of books. And what we also do is take particular care making sure that we use graphic content to help the employees understand some of the more complex concepts that we go through in the presentation. One of the highlights of our program, particularly when we're delivering this live in person, is our benefits worksheet. This is something that is unique to what we offer. I don't believe anyone else in the industry is offering this. And the reason we do this is really twofold. First off, well, threefold, really. It gives the employee an opportunity to look at their benefits holistically. And for the very first time, oftentimes, because they tend to look at their benefits myopically. So this is a way to look at it. The other thing it does is it allows them to take that information home and share it with their significant other so that they can decide, what's most important to them. And then if they sign up to sit down with you, it acts as, if you will, a basic fact-finding sheet or to figure out where their angst points are in their needs for your assistance. In addition to that, if you license the material, we have an invitation that comes as a form fillable PDF that you can use to push out to the potential participants, whether it's live or if it's done virtually. And again, this just gives them a better understanding of what to expect, how they register, and what materials will be covered. In addition to that, one of the other services that we provide, if you contract with us to come out and deliver the briefings, is a summary report. This has been very well received by the agency. So what we do is we collect all the evaluation forms, and we'll provide them with a report that will score this both numerically and as a percentage. So this really does three things. The first thing that it does is it confirms to the point of contact that you delivered what you said you were, and it was well received by the participants. The other thing that it does is it gives you an opportunity to sit down, again, face-to-face or virtually, with the point of contact to discuss how the evaluations went. And then the third thing that it does is provide you an opportunity to either ask to do additional briefings or to ask for maybe a referral to another agency. This is just a graphic representation of some of the things that we cover in our financial literacy program. This goes through basic financial planning, it goes through risk management, goes through investing, retirement, and estate planning. And so this is often used in conjunction. As we said, we typically deliver these in half-day sessions to really solidify some of the other concepts that we don't go over in the briefings, particularly when it comes to estate planning. So we think that's a key component. And again, that's something that you have the ability to offer in conjunction with existing seminars or to do them independently. Now, divorce is our most recent program. This is one where we've really it took me probably about a year and a half to put this all together because as I dug deeper, I went further and further down the rabbit hole of finding out how different federal employees are when it comes to divorce. I'll give you an example. Typically, when a private sector employee gets a divorce, if they have a defined benefit or defined contribution program, then the attorneys will draft up what's called a QDRO or Quadro, Qualified Domestic Relations Order. With the federal government, they have to put together what's called a court order acceptable for processing. And there's some very specific things that must be covered. And if it's done incorrectly, it can very much adversely affect the employee. So this has been designed to be delivered in a 2-hour or 4-hour session. We're also looking at developing an online service that you may be able to participate in. And of course, we have all the collateral material that goes along with supporting and promoting this, from the workbook to the invitations to the seminar pre and afterwards, post-seminar follow-up. So again, these are comprehensive programs that provide you the communication, the complete benefit training, the benefits book and worksheet, as well as the summary reports that are available. And as I mentioned previously, those are the two programs that we offer, which is the FEDED Advisor Training Program and then the FEBA seminars. Now, again, just to reiterate the pricing on the licensing material, $2,500 for the FERS and SIRS, including the full half-day and modules. $2,500 for the initial divorce that includes the 2 and the 4-hour, and then the financial literacy program that goes $2,000 for the half and full day. And then all of these programs renew at $500 per program. You can have us come out and speak for a fee of $1,500 a day, plus reasonable travel and expenses. And then you must order the workbooks from us for $10 for a full day, $8 for a half day. Now, an alternative pricing model is that you don't license the material. You simply pay us a fee of, you set the program up. We will assist you in making sure that the program is executed, but we do not fill the seats. So again, we are not a fishmonger. We are in the business of providing you with the knowledge, the tools, and supports you need to be in control of your business. So our upfront fee on this is $2,000 per day, plus reasonable travel and the workbooks. If you bring us out for multiple days, we will give you discounts off of that $2,000 fee. And then, as I mentioned previously, our latest and greatest is our online program, which we've gotten quite a bit of traction with. These are 1-hour, 2-hour, or 4-hour sessions. These come with a particular handout, and these are done for $1,250 with a renewal of $500. So that gives you the information that you need about our program. And as I mentioned, we do have a FEDED class coming up on October 27th, 28th, and 29th. And this is Registration will end on the 15th, so you'll get your 3 days of program. You'll get the pre-study guide, the classroom guide, the marketing workbook, the software from Ready Retire, an opportunity to get the digital resource guide, and then also to test your skills online with our online exam that we do through ClassMarker. So what I'd like to do now is I'd like to go ahead and unmute everyone to see if anyone has any particular questions. Our contact information's on there, so you can check us out on our website at febadvocates.com, or you can call. My direct dial extension is 720-432-3331, or if you like, you can email your questions to me at sean@febadvocates.com. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and open it up to any additional questions that we have, and then I'll turn it back over to Nick for the final closeout.
All right. Sean,
Okay, well, I don't
see any questions.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh,
I
go ahead.
don't see any questions, Nick. So what we'll do is everyone that was on this call will receive a recorded version of this that'll come out, if not later on today, tomorrow. And then we'll also send you a link to our online store so you can peruse the items that we have available. So Nick, go ahead and make your final statements, and then we'll close out for the day.
Well, thank you all for coming. If you have any questions, let us know. You will all be getting an email with the recorded copy, and we hope to see you at the October FEDED. Thanks so much. Have a good day.
All right. Thanks, everyone.